episode 2. I never thought we'd get here. Well, actually, I know we could. That's because ever since the last episode, I've been grinding my butt off. Currently, at the time of recording this, I'm actually level 22. Now, I did take some notes in the last videos, and a lot of you guys said that the last video was over-edited, it was too much on the brain, and to be honest with you, I watched the video, and after uploading it, I kind of agree with you. So from now on, we're gonna keep it reasonably chill, and we're just gonna go through these guns. It's also important to note that last video, apparently, I forgot about the AK-12, so we're either gonna be revisiting the gun sometime later down the line, or we're just gonna skip it in general. Now, with all that out of the way, it's time to start off with some guns. Coming up first for number 10, we have the AN-94. And I have a funny story about the AN-94, because I remember the first time I heard about this gun in Phantom Forces, I thought it was gonna be like the Black Ops 2 AN-94, and if you know anything about Black Ops 2, the AN-94 was probably one of the best rifles, if not the best rifle in the game. And so using the AN-94 for the first time in Phantom Forces was the biggest letdown of all time. But that was all the way in 2016, and fast forward to 2024, which is over 8 years ago. Oh my god. My opinion still stands around the AN-94 of it being kind of a letdown gun. I mean, there's a pretty solid reason why you see nobody running this gun around in Phantom Forces, unless they absolutely have to. But let's talk about statistics for a second. The AN-94 does 30 damage up to 50 studs, which makes it a 4-hit kill. And then up to 120 studs, it does 23 damage, making it a 5-hit kill. It has no torso multiplier, so unless you're hitting your headshots, this thing is kind of just And I also say this because, yes, maybe 30 damage isn't too terrible, but it also has the firing rate of 600 RPM if you're using it automatically, which I assume most people are, because using the burst on this gun and but honestly, compared to other guns on this list, this one is probably one of the easier ones, just because of the simple fact that once you put a Z point on it and you can actually see what you're shooting, you basically are just using an AUG with extra steps. Our next gun, however, is a fun gun because it is a shotgun. Yes, we are using the Remington 870. And sadly, that's the only shotgun in this video. However, I mean, it's a shotgun. What do you expect out of this gun? This gun is just unbelievably broken. I mean, they call me the one pump chump for a reason. And it's not because I use the 870. And to make things even better, I literally got 69 kills with this gun for rank 11. This is definitely one of the more faster guns I went through. I think it literally took maybe a game and a half of Metro for me to get this gun done. But I promise rank 12 is way more interesting because rank 12 is the Remington 700, which low-key might be one of the best snipers in the entire game. It took me a good little while to get used to using a sniper again inside this game, but after maybe like 5 minutes of warming up with the sniper, I was back in my zone. Muscle memory with bullet drop and everything was in full motion. For most of my Remington 700 shenanigans though, I was stuck on the map called Facility. And whoever designed that map should never design maps ever again, because honestly, what the hell is this map? This is like literally a labyrinth. I don't know why Phantom Forces is just one of those games that can consistently never make a new map without taking assets from other places. But honestly, if they can't make a good map without stealing from something, just steal from something, please, because Facility is the most god-awful map of all time. Like, what are you trying to achieve on this map? But I will say, I did enjoy sniping from a very certain window on this entire map. And if you look in the footage, I was beaming people left and right. I kind of wish, though, the one-shot range is a little bit farther for the R700, because it's a one-shot up to 65 studs, which what kind of sniper has less of a one-shot range than some of the shotguns inside this game? But that's not really important, because after 61 kills with this gun, I eventually ranked up to rank 13, which means we are on the SKS, or our next DMR. And after riding the high that we call the MK11, the SKS was just disappointing. And honestly, all DMRs after this point are gonna be pretty disappointing. And honestly, that's because you're just firing at semi-automatic. And yes, you do a little bit more damage than rifles, but it's not to the point where I would pick a DMR over a rifle any day of the week. The real powerhouse with the SKS is when you actually start modifying the ammo and you can turn it into like a shotgun or add slugs on it for that sweet one-shot headshot. But in general, when I was using the SKS, I really felt like I was at a huge disadvantage. It's also important though that at rank 13, I also unlocked the M17, and whenever we unlock two guns at the same time, I do use them both interchangeably. However, I only got 6 kills with this, so I'm not really going to be focusing on it too much. I know, like in God's Status series, at least he divided equally in half and half, but I don't really care that much, to be honest with you. I just wanted to play Phantom Forces. So you're gonna get what you're gonna get, and I don't think anybody's gonna complain about me not using the M17. But after getting 71 kills with the SKS, I eventually got to the M4, and well, the M4, I'm gonna be honest with you, is probably the worst gun on this list so far. I don't know if there's like any M4 enjoyers out out there that are gonna get really mad at me for saying this, but it really is probably one of the worst, if not the worst carbine in the entire game. And let me break it down real quick with some stats. So in theory, this is a 3-shot kill up to 50 studs, which means that since this gun is a burst weapon, it has the ability to one-burst people. In theory. But after using this gun, I don't think I ever one-bursted somebody once. And that's because with the M4, it does its weird thing where you shoot 3 bullets, one of them hits, and the other 2 just go to Narnia. I don't know where the other 2 go. It's a burst weapon, but it feels like I'm firing an only semi-automatic. It also doesn't help that at medium to long range, this gun is basically useless. Now, to be fair to this gun, I did use basically the default version of it because I didn't unlock any of the grips or any of the sights or any of the barrels, but base gun is just awful. I don't think I did terrible with this gun, but it certainly felt like I did. And after using this gun, it really made me question on who was this made for? Seriously, like if I wanted to use a burst gun, I'd use the M16A4, which I did use at rank 22. It's amazing. But that's for next video. But after 66 grueling kills with this thing, I eventually got off of it and made it to rank 15. And rank 14 and rank 15 are like basically polar opposites because on one hand, you have one of the worst guns in the entire game, and on the other, you have the AS Val, like the holy grail of all weapons. That's because this thing is a 3-hit kill up to 60 studs. And yes, it only does have 20 bullets in it with an RPM of 800. But to be fair, that's all you really need. This gun by far was probably one of the easiest, if not the easiest gun to use in this list next to the Remington 870, just because it's so absurdly broken. Like using this gun was really just feed after feed after feed after feed. And we were also on Metro for this gun, so it really was just spawn trap central. Does that make me a bad person? Yeah, probably. But was it fun? Oh, absolutely. But that's really it for rank 15. Our next gun is the Scarl. There's honestly nothing too special about the Scarl. It was really easy to get through this one also, but that's just because it's a reasonably good assault rifle. It's not on the AS Val level where you can just shred everything, but the Scarl has reasonable recoil and reasonable damage with a reasonable fire rate. It's a very safe gun. It has really nothing to hate. But then again, I love Scars in general just because I love their iron sight. I don't know why I love the iron sight so much on these guns particular, but they're just so beautiful. But let's talk about stats though. What's interesting about this gun in particular is the fact that it's basically a 4-hit kill all around. It does 33 damage up to 60 studs and then drops down to 25 damage at 120 studs, which makes a 4-hit kill no matter what. So if you're looking for a very consistent gun that's all around good, honestly, the Scarl isn't a bad choice. However, why use the Scarl when you can just use the AS Val? That's just me. And this gun was really uneventful. There's nothing really special about it. It's a 4-hit kill all around. I didn't have any personal problems with this thing. But you know what I had a personal problem with? Rank 18, the G18C. Now, in my opinion, the G18C is an amazing secondary to use, but to use it as a primary is like using the M231. It shreds people at ridiculously close ranges, but it drops off pretty quickly when you start using it at some range. Now, what I noticed about this gun in particular is the fact that it basically has no visual recoil, but it has a lot of actual recoil. And what that means is essentially when you're shooting the gun isn't really moving at all, but the bullets are definitely moving. If you want to spray somebody down, I recommend looking at their chest or their feet, because for whatever odd reason, I feel like the bullets arch up. And so if you aim at somebody head on, you're actually going to be ending up missing all of your shots just because you're aiming a little bit too high for the gun. Once again, I don't know why they just wouldn't incorporate recoil into this gun. This is one of the very rare cases where I'd say having recoil on a gun is actually way better than having no recoil on this gun because it just throws you off. But to be fair, not everybody's going to be using this as a primary weapon. And honestly, if you're using a sniper and you want a quick switch to a machine pistol, the G18C is a perfect barrier for entry. But you know what's not a perfect barrier for entry? The Desert Eagle L5. Now, unfortunately, when I was recording this section of the video along with the M60, my recording corrupted because my power went out midway through the recording. So I ended up losing all of my footage for both the M60 and the Desert Eagle L5. So I asked Spirals to go ahead and give me some insane gameplay, which, by the way, this is not me. I want to make that very clear. I did hit some crazy feats, but not like this. But the Desert Eagle L5 was something I was thoroughly surprised with because I was going into the mindset that I wasn't going to have fun with this gun. And that was, I don't know why I thought that. This gun is amazing. And there's one thing in particular that sets this gun apart from all the other pistols, and it's the fact that this thing can one-shot headshot. And with minimal recoil, it's actually pretty damn OP because you end up running into people, headshotting them, and then going about your day like nothing ever happened. The best comparison I can make is like using a Desert Eagle in Counter-Strike, except without all the crazy recoil that comes with it. It's a one-shot headshot with basically no recoil. The barrier to entry with this gun is a lot higher because it does require you to be hitting your headshots, but if you're somebody who can hit their headshots pretty consistently, this is probably one of the best secondaries in the entire game. But then again, I guess you could say the Stayer Scout is the best sniper in the game as long as you hit its headshots, which is low-key kind of impossible. But that leaves us with our last gun for rank 19, the M60. The moment we've all been waiting for, baby. Because not only was it double XP at the time, I was also spawn trapping a bot lobby in Phantom Forces in Metro. It was ridiculous. I think I got a total of, let's see here, 55 kills with this gun in a span of a game, and I ranked up. This is by far one of the fastest guns I used so far because of the double XP, but they did change the M60 a little bit because it actually has some reasonable recoil now. But to be fair, a little bit of recoil for 100 bullets and crazy damage and a good fire rate, yeah, you know, like, what do you do? The M60 in my heart will always be my favorite gun in the entire world. This gun is just so damn amazing. I really wish they just never nerfed this thing in general and just kept it at its original broken state because, bro, it was so fun. It was so fun. But hey, we made it to the end of the video, and I'm gonna be honest with you, I don't know when the next episode is gonna come out, at least in the time frame, because things are starting to slow down just a little bit. But if you enjoy this, please leave a like and leave a comment of what your favorite gun is so far in this list, and I hope to see you guys in the next one. Bye bye.